Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In my running around the web, I see a lot of people sometimes asking for book recommendations, and you get a lot of your popular books being recommended. I thought I'd go pick some things off my shelf and show you what I sometimes recommend to people as off the beaten path. Really good books that I never see anyone else but me introduce to other people. And we're going to start with Carol Berg, The Song of the Beast. This is let's call it a bard book. It is a low magic setting. He is simply a singer and a musician, his fellow named Aidan. He is renowned throughout the kingdom, but he is taken and imprisoned for unknown reasons and tortured for about 17 years. He loses his voice, his hands are broken, he's essentially crippled, and he has no idea why he's being imprisoned. And he is actually released and goes about trying to find out what the reason was. Here we have him encountering, this scene does take place in the book. It is an amazingly magical moment. And the dragons in this book are mindless, they're just beasts, and they're used by dragon riders to keep the kingdom in power. And so he may have a connection to them that threatens that peace. Miss Berg is amazing at giving you description without slogging. Too many writers, I wish they had maybe better editors or something, just page after page after page of too much information. She does not do this here. For 400 some pages, it just moves right along. It's very interesting, cover to cover. This is her first book, and I might think might be her best book, actually. I really enjoyed this one. A bard-like, high magic in one place in it, but otherwise pretty down to earth, and a magnificent book to read. She really knows how to put together a sentence. Let me get that all in there. Lucifer by Glenn Duncan. So this is the story of the devil himself, told by the devil himself. He is given an opportunity to repent. He's going to be placed in a body, and he's got 1 month not to sin. And I don't know what we're going with sin here, because once he gets in that body, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. He's going to tell his story. He gets with producers and writers to try to tell his tale. In the meantime, he narrates the book himself, so you get his side of the story. You get the entire history of, well, here we are now, singing to the Lord, and then he is thrown out. And you get it from his perspective, which, who knows, it could be a little one-sided, perhaps. Doesn't seem to have a positive attitude about Adam, but he loves Eve. There's a lot of humor in his book. He's a charming fellow, the devil himself, and just rolls with it, and is given a choice to repent and go back to heaven, or face the end of the world and no longer exist. I have a where in this right here. Here he is getting kicked out. A little artwork by Gustave Doré. All over print. We have here, hold it this way first, Cathani by Eric Brown. This is actually a bunch of short stories and novels finally collected in one volume here. This has aliens who never reveal themselves, but they do make contact with Earth. And the setup here is actually a back and forth between, let's say, a religion devoted to aliens and that of what's already on Earth. If you take up with them, you get a little implant in your temple, and it sticks out, so everyone knows that you're with them. Whatever kills you, this will flood your body with technology, and it'll keep you alive. And they're going to take you away. You're gone for about 6 months, and you come back, and you're good as new, and you're going to live however long you want to live, centuries perhaps. And so you have a little tug of war between people who want that and people who don't. There was especially one story in here, very directly. The husband is with the Cathani, and the wife is a devout religious woman, and their daughter is dying. And it's a tug of war to either let her die and maybe or maybe not go up to heaven, or for sure let her get this implant to save her life. And that's the conflicts that come up in this book. Yeah, a Predator book, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. Predator Turnabout by Steve Perry. Now this, uh, whether you ever got into these or not, or in the movies or not, uh, what Steve Perry does here, he did his homework on what it's like to be a sniper. The lead character here, he was a Vietnam vet. He's a Marine Scout sniper. He's retired. He's almost 60 years old, and he's patrolling the park up in the Yukon. And he basically keeps out poachers is the primary thing. There is a poacher in this book, and this particular poacher is a powerful tracker and marksman. But of course, he's not the only danger when the aliens show up. And what goes through this book, the aliens wind up being kind of in the background, more like in the movie Jaws. And you see it all from the sniper's point of view as he goes through, and he tracks, and he hides, and he sneaks. And there shouldn't be any kind of spoiler that at some point, since he's a sniper, he's going to take his first shot. And the detail and suspense in that scene is one of my favorite things I've ever read in a book right there. Predator Turnabout by Steve Perry. Oh boy. John Scalzi, The God Engines. Look at that cover. So this is actually a novel. It's only 100 and let's take a look here. 120 something pages on it, I think. 136 pages. 136 pages. This is a real space fantasy. It's magic in space. They're in a spaceship. And they have a god who powers the engine, and they have to punish this god to make it use its power to get them around. When one of them is told to contact the headquarters, he has to turn and pray to the monitor. There are plot lines set in motion here, and then everything gets turned upside down, and this ends in jaw-dropping fashion. Right there, the God Engine. Very lastly, a little quick video, I guess. We're going to go into some Dungeons and Dragons. You do not need to know how to play Dungeons and Dragons in order to enjoy and read these books. We have here White Plume Mountain, Descent into the Depths of the Earth, and Queen of the Demon Web Pits. There is the Goddess Sloth, Demon Queen of Spiders. This would best be described as Guardians of the Galaxy before there was Guardians of the Galaxy. You got a ragtag group here, ranger here, this little fairy woman who's a wizard here, this hellhound pelt which is alive but it just kind of sits there. They take up with other teammates and basically just fight evil. And this book right here in particular, I don't know that I have arachnophobia per se, but I think we can do without spiders on the planet. We'll just adapt and overcome. But this book right here has one of the most horrific scenes of blood sacrifice I've ever read in anything in my life. It is horrible, and you're gonna love it. Queen of the Demon Web Pits. Well, Dungeons and Dragons next for you. Well, that's about it. A little quick one. Got quite a list of things I want to do here, and I'll get to them with each day off that I get. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did so, please like and subscribe. Have a lovely day. Thank you.